Dorad, I have decided to teach you the Adobe Illustrator 3 software from A to Z. Unlike Photoshop, where our course was tool-based, it was actually project-based. In this software, I want to teach you all the tools by working with them directly. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. In this session, we want to create a logo, or rather, a logo menu, and I will teach you how to work with these tools. Let's get to the tutorial. Hey guys! In this Adobe Illustrator 3 tutorial, I want to teach you from A to Z how to design in Illustrator and also actually create characters, logos, and three-dimensional designs. Remember, first of all, if you see my screen here, it is full of various X's and characters or logos, different ones. These are my defaults, meaning I have worked here previously. You might see nothing in your recent since I have not opened them. In order to place my screen onto the Artboard page, you should come here and select New or choose the New option from the File menu, or I will press the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+N. So, when I press Ctrl+N, a default menu will be created, which you can see right here. First of all, I will talk about art illustration, which is for those who enjoy doing digital painting using a pen and want to sell their art. They can work within the art illustration section. These are specific media sizes used for tablets or various other devices. There are various presets here that you can use to set your sizes. This is for those friends who are looking to create motion graphics. They build their characters in Adobe Illustrator just like me, as I work in motion graphics. For instance, I set it to a size of 1920 by 1080 and begin my work. For those doing website work, there are also ready-made presets for web designers. Also for those friends who are working with software like Adobe XD, they have included XD. It is the background. You should define your trim size within Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator to begin your work. Because we are planning to work on graphic design, we will head over to the printing section. This software includes various ready-made presets for mobile, web, print, film and video, and art illustration. It has, in the printing section, it has the ready-made sizes and presets. All of these different sections located on your right-hand menu share a common menu where you are able to first type in the name of your project. As an example, today we are doing a logo tutorial which we will call the logo menu. Here I can write the name of my work, and right here when I select the Save Preset option, what is actually happening? When I always choose my size, I am able to save that size as a default setting. As my demo work, once you click on this Save preset, it will always show up in your Save menu for you to open. So, where would you use these? For Instagram Reels, where the size preset is not ready, you can create a save. You create a preset. Now, I am going to come back to the print section. If you are working for film and video websites, you should always set your sizes to pixels. Our website banners in pixels. Banners that you work on for film and video or motion graphics. Pixels for the purpose of wanting to fix a size. If you are in countries such as the United States, Australia, or Canada, you have to work with pounds or inches, whereas countries like Iran and also England always use centimeters and millimeters. Or in fact, regions of countries close to England also work with centimeters and millimeters, so now I set to centimeters, so set it to centimeters. This becomes my width. This section here will be my length. A person standing means the portrait format, which is vertical. The one that is sitting is the landscape format. Artboard means whether the A4 page you are creating is a single page, 2 pages, or 4 pages. It returns to the priority of how many pages you would like to create for your artboard. Well, if you are familiar with this design, in reality, it opens a panel beside your page indicating that these print lines exist for printing, so you should set it. Create one. For my own bleed, I usually add 0.5 centimeter to all sides, and once the page is created, we will understand. Well, RGB stands for red, green, blue. CMYK is an abbreviation for cyan or turquoise blue, magenta, and azure red. Yellow color. It is black. So, since blue already used the letter B, they were forced to use the last letter of the word for black. Now we are going to select RGB. Why does this warning appear? Because it says you are in the print section, so you must use CMYK. Since I am teaching and I am connected to a monitor, if I use RGB for print, there is no issue. But if you have a print job and this warning appears, it means you have a print error, so you must use CMYK. The resolution of an image refers to its quality and clarity, which is abbreviated as PPI. This is typically set to 300 for things like A4 size or smaller, catalogs, monitors, and digital projects. If you have film and video projects or websites, it is generally set to 72 and never to 300 because it is resolution. Motion graphics are 72, usually set to 72 on my site. Okay, I click create to make my page. The build section that I have been working on is right here, and the reason I asked you to change it is because you can do it here. Change your page and get to work. A tip. If you opened your page in A4 size and it is horizontal, but you mistakenly want to work vertically, there's a tool panel here called Artboard, which was in the creator too. You can make it vertical or horizontal here. Click. You are able to change the size of it. Change the available sizes. You can create a new artboard right here, which means you can add another page or 2 pages beside it. Or this one. By holding down Alt, you can manually create an artboard page by holding down Alt on your keyboard and moving your mouse. Drag it. This is how you can create the page. It shows the page dimensions, including the width and height, and tells you how to use it here. Just like in all Adobe applications, you use Ctrl- to zoom in. It zooms out with the minus and plus keys. Keyboard. Use Ctrl- to zoom in and Ctrl+ to zoom out. If you press Ctrl+0, it returns to the original screen view. Hold Alt and use the mouse scroll. This also allows you to zoom in or zoom out as needed. If you have trouble with this, use the zoom tool to zoom out. Keep holding the Alt key to zoom in. Do so. So that covers zooming in and zooming out. First, we will look at the Layers menu. Unlike Photoshop, where there is a background layer, in Adobe Illustrator you can use this white layer. I am telling you this because Adobe Illustrator is a vector-based program, not a pixel-based one. So, since we are working with vector-based software here, the canvas you are looking at is a transparent page which enables you to work. Therefore, you are unable to apply any color to this specific layer. In fact, you are unable to apply a gradient, unlike Photoshop. In order to apply color, you need to create a brand new layer for coloring. One of the great features of Adobe Illustrator is that every move you make in Illustrator, it automatically creates a new layer for us. If I were to open this up, the layer is clearly defined. I created a few frames. Let me hit undo and see that again. I am creating a layer to show all the parts that I have imported. As you can see, I have brought in 3 shapes, and these 3 are 3 layers together. Well, let us look at the first tool we want to learn. First, to bring your asset onto the screen like other software. Just like all other software, you can bring it in by using the File Open command. Or you can simply drag and drop it. For example, I will drag this onto the screen and place it right there. There. Well, with the first tool, which we call the Move tool, you can resize this. If you hold down Shift once, it will not form properly. You must complete your work entirely. So I have brought my axe out here to begin the working. Keep in mind that you are able to select your axe. You must click on this to be able to work. Listen guys, when I say click to lock, you must open the Layers menu and lock those layers. Or choose to select. You should press Ctrl+2 to lock it, or this. From the Object menu, lock. Click on Selection, and that is how your layer becomes locked. I have created an A4 page so far. But I have brought all the tools needed for drawing, with its large and small tools. I turned and locked it. How do I draw this? The very first tool I want to teach you is the rectangle tool, but today we are going straight to the circle. As soon as I select the circle tool, a default menu bar appears for me at the top of the screen. If you happen to be missing this menu or your toolbar entirely, go to the Window menu. Make sure to set your control and toolbar to the advanced setting. If you leave it on basic, it will revert to older models where you lose access to some tools, just like I have now. I did. Better to set your toolbar to advanced. Advanced section. Okay, now in the advanced section. When I go ahead and select the shape, Keep in mind that you can either hover your mouse to open it or right-click to open it up. The top section. This is where you can choose for your fill to be completely transparent. To have a solid color or a gradient, we will cover all of these in our upcoming sessions. The very first thing that we want is for it to be completely transparent. Then we go to the stroke. The stroke refers to the outer edges that you create for a specific shape. Just like the fill, it can have a color, it can be transparent or have a gradient. Now I am going to choose the black color for this. Over here I am choosing my stroke size, let's say 2. I am going to go ahead and create a circle. When I mention size, look, it actually changes the size. This will make it larger or smaller, which I am setting to 2. When I say it should have a color here, this is how you can apply color. You can add a gradient. You can apply linear, radial, and reflected types of gradients. We are going to work with these again. I use them often, so you will understand it fully. However, at this moment, I want this specific part to be colorless. Well, I have created a circle. The size of the format that is currently available to us. I have a stroke, adjusting. Fine. Everything is fine up to here, it is fully adjusted. Now I would like to create a copy of this circle. This software works like Photoshop, using Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V. Or you can use Ctrl+J in Adobe Illustrator software. The process for copying is different. First of all, unlike Photoshop software, if you are on a layer you cannot work, you must have the object selected. Once it is selected, from the File menu, you hit Copy, which uses a shortcut like this. Ctrl+Z in software. Now, the way you paste is different. In most other programs, Ctrl+V is for pasting. Inside Adobe Illustrator, you use Ctrl+P, Ctrl+V. This paste process asks if you want it on the layer above or below. I will press Ctrl+F so it comes to the layer above, you see. Had I pressed Ctrl+B, it would go to the layer underneath. Position your mouse. Ctrl+F comes to the layer above. Ctrl+B brings it to the layer below. So remember, like all other software, we have one step forward, which is Ctrl+Z, and one step forward. We have a backward move, which is Ctrl+Z. So every time I want to reverse a move, I will press Ctrl+Z. Whenever I want to move forward, I press Ctrl+Shift+Z. For instance, watch, I press Ctrl+Z. Now I press Ctrl+Shift+Z and it moves towards the front actually. Now I want to copy it again. Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. I have taken a copy of it. I want this copy to be smaller. I am holding down the Alt and Shift keys. Alt is used to shrink from both sides, and Shift is so my work does not distort. I bring it until enough. For this section as well, I wanted to. And now, use the Ctrl+C and Ctrl+F keys to copy. The second way is to select the layer that I am choosing right now. I hold down the Alt key and then move it with my mouse. OK, see again. Select the layer. Hold down the Alt key, your cursor will become 2, then move with your mouse. Again, I shrink this from both sides. Zoom in to see. Smaller. I hold down the Alt key and the Shift key so it does not get deformed. Remember, today we want to do something else. Now we are going to work with the Shape Builder tool, as you can see right here on the screen. It is used for moving forms into one another, which I will show you how to do today. You need to make sure the lines cross over one another. Look here, these two sides have not crossed, so I'm going to grab this line. And again with Alt and Shape, I cross them from both sides, you see. Now if I select both of these and move them with the Move tool, you can see the intersection is created. Select this side. An intersection has been created, so they have crossed over each other here. So I hold down Alt again. I am going to move it with the mouse and create another copy for the lower section. I'll grab it and put it on the wall. I am going to select it to check if a collision has been created. A collision has been created, and now I can see that a collision has occurred. Okay, 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, 4, exactly 4 layers I have. And if I close this, I can see that 1 layer has been created. We have performed all of these tasks within a single layer with 4 sub-layers if you wish. If you want to create another section, you can use this plus sign to create a new layer, though we do not need it now. You see, this makes me want to create another one at this moment. In fact, you are able to create sub-layers for the new layer at any point during your work. You are able to add your layers by using this specific tool. Then you can open the folder to place the sub-layers underneath that layer. Now let's go back to the Move tool. I will select it, and when you want to select everything, hold the mouse button down to select it this way. This way, when you perform the selection, all of your layers will be selected. Now let us move on to learning how to work with the Shape Builder tool. The Shape Builder is a tool that is used for merging or cutting your work. Clicking on Shape Builder, holding it repeats the action. Will this erase the entire thing for me, or should I hold down the Alt key and move over each section to erase it? Let us see. Alright, I am holding down the Alt key and moving it around. Once I erase it, I want these to merge into a single layer by positioning the mouse over the layer and moving it. Moving it causes them to become a single layer, as we can see. I zoom in and move my mouse again to the areas I see. I am merging it into one layer, doing the same for this side and that side as well. I press Ctrl+Z and repeat the explanation again. I keep everything. Using the Move tool, I am going to select the Shape Builder tool. I am holding down the Alt key and moving this section. When I hold Alt, we are moving the mouse around. In order to create a single layer, you need to move the mouse. See, I am zooming in on these parts again as one layer. The shape I am working on is now completely finished. Now, let us take a look at how we can soften these edges using Adobe Illustrator. So we learned what the shape builder is. There is a tool here. I right click and we work with it. Now I just want to show you the smooth tool. The smooth tool is, as the name implies, used for the purpose of softening a shape. Okay, I am going to select it now. I will click here once more. When you double click, this window pops up asking if you want it to be very smooth. Or maybe not. Let's see. I'm going to say no, don't smooth it. I will handle it with my own mouse movements. I am going to smooth these out by hand. Great. This part. Great. This part too. Great. I move the mouse just enough to reach the desired shape. Okay. Up to here. Okay. Good. Let's continue. If you have been paying attention to the image, we have 4 different formats right here. We have a tool that is called the pen tool, available in Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, and Premiere. You have the pen tool, which is a drawing tool that lets us draw by placing points one by one. If you are looking to delete this specific section, it will be separated by clicking on it. If you would like to add a point to this section, you use the plus sign, and with the minus sign, the anchor point is removed. The point is removed, okay? Let me zoom in so that I am positioned exactly on top of it. See? Gone. Shown now. Well, you will use anchor points in order to give it shape. If you have worked with Photoshop, in Photoshop this point is called, it is a convert point. In Illustrator it is a convert point, and in After Effects it is an anchor. It is a point that is utilized for creating shapes. Now, since I want to teach you in a more professional manner, when I choose the pen tool and place the first point, then as I place the second point, I keep my hand. I do not lift my hand from the mouse, and I move my mouse to create the anchor point for me simultaneously. I will put this here. When you select the pen tool, you can use the tools on the side to set the color to transparent. And just apply a stroke to it. Give it. This works too. I'm doing it right. You can select and move these points by clicking on them. Watch as I go ahead and select those points. Then I can use the anchor point to move it. Okay, great. So I will come back to the pen. I'm going to place a point right here, and I will add one more point right here, and I will give it some shape. I said, I am not taking my finger off the mouse while I move it. Enter. I separated it well. Now select everything together. I will use the shape builder tool quickly. I am zooming in and holding down the Alt key to delete these extra sections. It deletes. As we mentioned, holding down the Alt key allows you to delete the extra parts. Alright everyone, when I perform a zoom in, if you keep the spacebar on your keyboard held down, you can move this. This becomes your tool, it becomes the hand. If you continue to hold down the spacebar on your keyboard, you are able to move and navigate it. Now I select all again. Just as I mentioned to you previously, you can use your mouse to combine these into a single layer. but I do not want to merge them right now as I want them to stay separate. By clicking on it right there, it will separate once you click using the Shape Builder tool, and you will see your layers separate. Okay, so that is how you go about separating the layers. Select everything now. I am going to turn off the stroke. I will apply a default color to it. For instance, I will make them all blue. Alright, let us go ahead and work with another tool together. So we have the Move tool, the Direct Selection tool, Shape Smooth tool, and Shape Builder. We are going to move on to the Gradient tool. In the Gradient tool, I am going to select the Gradient tool from the window menu. I can also bring up the panel and then select the gradient to place it here. So, the first option is the color, which is also located in our toolbar, and we refer to this as color. The one below that switches with this. We refer to that as the stroke. So you give this border to it. This is the object color. Well, by clicking on this, the color is also created. Now I would like to apply the color myself, for instance, the first one. Add another color. This is your gradient panel, and this is in fact your color swatches. The first one, for example, light blue, and the second one by double clicking. To it, a dark blue color. Apply. Here is the angle degree that I can change with this part or from the gradient menu itself. From the toolbar, choose the tool from the toolbar by moving the mouse here. Now what does this icon do? It reverses your colors, which allows me to create my color this way. Make. Now I select the second one and do the same for the second one. Two different colors. Select a darker color using the gradient tool. I move it. I can also reverse it to have that range. I do the same thing again. Select a gradient, for example, light green. I select dark green and apply it again. Using the gradient menu. This move, I go. I will reverse it. I select the next color, for instance, this one, from light orange to red. I will get it there. I've reached here. Now that our format is created, I can turn off the bottom photo from the layers menu. I don't need it anymore. I don't need it. Now a little bit. I'll shrink and move this. That's enough. Everything okay? Our format and colors are looking different now. What to do for this? I will go to the fifth tool and select my first layer to deselect it. If you want to deselect, just press Ctrl+A. Everything will be selected. Ctrl+Shift+A will deselect it. I'll say it again. Pressing Ctrl selects everything. Ctrl+Shift. Deselected. I am going to select the pen tool now. I am creating a point outside and a line to the vertex point, and then I zoom in. see, it is created here. Well, from between these two options, I am visually selecting the middle part, and I am curving it, keeping my hand on the mouse to anchor the point. Well, the outer parts do not matter because they will be deleted, so to delete them, go to the Move tool. You select the first one, hold down Shift, and then these two layers are selected. I am going to go and glitch it once more. A point. Outside, a point right here. I will choose the space between these 2 points. Then I mark the outer points. Then I hold down the Shift key to select both layers. We mentioned using the shape builder for this selection. By holding Alt, the selection will be subtracted. Now the 2 layers are the same color. To show that wave, to actually show that wave and make it look more three-dimensional, by clicking on Reverse, this wave will be created. It is created. Now I am going to the next color so you can understand it better. Okay, I will select this. A point. Between these, I am choosing this one by eye. The back part is not important. I will connect them. Holding Shift with Move tool, selecting these 2 layers. By holding Alt with the Shape Builder tool and moving the mouse, this part is deleted. Because the colors are identical, I am going to select one of the layers again. With Gradient, I am going to reverse the reverse part. Okay, I am coming back for the green layer now. A point in the middle, bringing to the start. I am taking my hand off the mouse now. Mouse move. I will hold down the Shift key again and use the Shape Builder tool to delete with Alt. So, now I am going to reverse it here and also select this format. I'll quickly finish this one. Well, I quickly finished this one too, so it can be seen. Alright, the specific form that I wanted to... I have another form here now, where the field of view becomes even larger. First, let me reverse this, and swap my other color, so that the depth of field is much greater. Actually, I gave the darks to the in a mirror. So, I'm going to use the pen tool again. Now, I'm going to remove the color here. Do it. Actually, the stroke color is white and I will set the size to 2. I'm going to place a point right in the center of the line. A point. I add here. Then my shape. I move so it sits exactly on it. Guys, if you saw this move, if you find it difficult to come, I will repeat it once more. After you have placed the first point, place the second one and press enter. Move it with the anchor point. It might be hard the first time. It feels heavy, but that is okay. Now we will move on to the side tool to actually reduce the stroke slightly. Okay? We have a side tool here in the stroke size settings called Uniform, which lets us pick different models. What does that mean? It is linear here, correct? I will change my uniform to craft so these edges become crafted. Alright, let me check. I still have a bug here that I need to fix. Done? Well, I changed the color to white here, and it created a very strong color contrast between these two. In Photoshop, there is a tool that you can find in the Layers menu called Blending Mode. We have it in Adobe Illustrator too, but it is not in the Layers menu. I will go ahead and select the transparency option from the Window menu. You must remember here that in Adobe Illustrator, the layer needs to be selected. And from blending mode, I am going to select overlay as well. Look, it looks attractive. Done? Now I am going to perform the same action for the remaining ones. I'll come to this point. I am going to create a curve point on the format. I will also select the uniform scale from the side tool, both curved sides. I am going to create the blending mode first. Let's see. Okay, I'll do the rest. I will use the uniform scale from the side tool. Okay. Well, it's format 2. The scale. Sorry. I'm going to set the first one. Great. I'll do this one too. Once again, the ski uniform. And aisle A. Cool. Well, now I added a gradient to the shape. What does that mean? I created a gradient color here. Let me show you in the design as well. I said in Adobe Illustrator we don't have a layer name background. So I am going to create an object here. I am creating it. I am giving it a yellow color so you can see it, and I have removed the stroke, alright? First, this must go to the bottom layer. In the Photoshop software, you used to manually drag this down to the bottom. Don't do this in the Illustrator menu. You are clicking on it. The send to back command moves the object to the lowest layer. The bring to front command moves it to the highest layer. Send to back moves backward. It moves down layer by layer. I am using keyboard shortcuts. Watch it move down one by one. Bring to front, these are the specific keyboard shortcuts for this. It moves up one by one. Alright, so what are the keyboard shortcuts for these? Bring to front is Ctrl+Shift, closing bracket. To reach the lowest layer, send to back is Shift, Ctrl, and the closing bracket. The Ctrl and closing bracket keys will bring it forward. Backward is the opening bracket. Now I am going to lower this layer down. From the window menu you can select gradient, and I am going to choose black and white here. I do. We already explained the first one, so I am going to select radial for the second. Now for the black color, I double clicked on the swatch in the toolbox. I select this one. Well, now I come to the gradient itself. When you are currently in the radial section, it becomes circular. We can make it much larger so that the light spreads. I am going to duplicate the background layer using Ctrl+J, and I have locked it here. Well, a beautiful shadow in the center. I put it under. Coming here, I will create a circular shape. So up until now, I have explained how to apply color from here. Now I can double click the color tool to select a color, make it black so that it has a blur effect applied to it. From the effects, I will add the Gaussian blur, apply it. I will apply the blur to the intensity that I desire. I will also reduce the opacity from the transparency menu. Here, as we mentioned before, to move it underneath, from the right-click Arrange menu, I can use the Send to Back command with keys so they appear one by one. That is today's design. I hope this tutorial is useful for you. Keep practicing. Practice more. See you in the next session. Goodbye.